Okay. All right.
Coach, that was like a Mike Tyson fourth quarter there. That was a slugfest, and then you guys opened it up with that trick play and went from there.
Yeah, well, first of all, this game means a lot to a lot of people connected to both of these universities. And we talked to the team before the game. You know, the way you honor someone is by how you do something. And I think they played with the right mentality. We still got a lot of things to get cleaned up. Hats off to ECU. They battled. We knew it was going to be a battle. I mean, this is one of the premier teams in the American Conference. But we talked about all week. We got to play to our standard, and our standard is 60 minutes of tough physical football, move on to the next play. A lot of opportunities left out there. I'm not sure it would have been as close if we didn't make some of the mistakes we made. Not that we would have just ran the score up, but we're not in some of those situations. A lot to learn from. Great opportunity to go into the bye week 1-0.
Their run defense was stout, but you kept pushing, and Rasheen gets 2 huge touchdowns there.
Yeah, we knew. I mean, I told you guys on Tuesday. You guys don't listen to me, but I told you guys on Tuesday what they do up front. Really, it stresses you because they move a lot, they twist, they angle, they stunt, they blitz. Very complex defense. But I thought overall, you know, we managed it. You know, there's still some things we got to get cleaned up, but you just keep working at it. You don't give up on it. You use your complementary plays off of it to loosen them up. And, you know, at the end there, Rasheen kind of grits and grinds and gets a big run there, and that's who we are. We're going to be able to grit and grind, and we're going to throw it when we need to throw it and run it when we need to run it and find a way to minimize some of the mistakes so we don't get put in those situations. Hit some big plays that got taken back for penalties. That changes the dynamic. But all in all, we got better today, and we got to keep grinding.
Chuck Montgomery to Caleb McMillan, how long has that been in the playbook?
I mean, they ask me every week if we can run it. I mean, you guys wanted me to run it last week against Albany so we could run the score up and everybody be happy, but we were saving some things for a tough time like this. And that's a lot of what we did. We made some adjustments, adjusted the way we did some things, knew we wanted to do some things different in this game, so we kind of held some things early. I know you guys don't think, but I think about everything that happens. And now we know we didn't play phenomenal in game 1. Limited playbook. If we'd opened it up, maybe different. We played a little better today. Still got to clean up a lot of mistakes. Still got to clean up a lot of things that missed opportunities. But because of what we did last week, we were able to present some new things this week, which I think helped us.
It was 13-10, and your defense just kind of, you know, prevented them from padding it. There were some situations there they could have, and then of course that led to great things offensively.
Yeah, I think defensively, I mean, those guys battled. I mean, we put them in a tough position right there at the end of the first half with the turnover. Really good play by ECU's guy, something that they've really never done, which is just fire up the field. They've been a kind of scale and check it deal. But they made an adjustment, put us in a really tough spot defensively. They just came out and battled. You know, Eli Neal in the locker room during the break, he said, we got to win the game. And that's the mentality we got to have. You know, offensively, we got to say, like, we got to go win the game. Defensively, we got to say we got to go win the game. Special teams the same way. I think the leadership showed up tonight because there were some times we could have folded, and we didn't. And obviously, we got to get better so we don't keep getting put in these situations where we're behind 3 and 10 and 7. Trust me, that's not in the plan. So that's not in the plan. But we can build off of this. We can build off of this. This means nothing for, you know, next week, but we got an opportunity to get better. We got an opportunity to go 1-0 during the bye week, managing the bye week the right way, getting ready for, you know, on down the road.
Yeah, that's an early bye week, but does it come at a good time for you? I mean, you can kind of celebrate your win here and start preparing for a really good Tech team.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot to get cleaned up before we can even move on to the next opponent, but that's what bye weeks are for, is the opportunity to look at what you're doing well, what kids are struggling with, get them some extra reps, obviously mend some bruises wherever they may be, and then we'll make the switch to, you know, to the next opponent once we kind of hit that mark. But we got to make sure we maximize this. I don't know why we have a bye week this early, but the good Lord doesn't do things without reason, so we plan and we prepare and we get ready to move on.
The weather delays, that's something you can prepare for, and how did you guys approach it?
Yeah, so about 6 years ago when I was at Penn State in 2017, I don't know if that's 6 years, don't quote my math, we got caught in a 4-hour weather delay at Michigan State. And it was one of those deals that kept getting delayed. And we had a good plan, but we really didn't have a extended plan. So I made a note back then when I was a running back coach, hey, you got to have a plan for these things. So last year, we spent some time with Anthony Paroli, who is the strength coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He and I worked together at Mississippi State. I asked him, what do you guys do for weather delays? What kind of plan do you have? And what he did was he laid out what they do for the Super Bowl. Because if you think about it, the Super Bowl has an extended halftime, extended pregame. So there's 30-minute increments of everything you do, when you ride the bike, when you stretch, when you relax. And every time you add 30 minutes, you add another segment. And we worked that plan today to perfection. BA and his staff on 30 minutes, they told us we got another 30 minutes. Okay, we got 30 more minutes. Okay, now we're on the bikes. We got 30 more minutes. Okay, now we're stretching. We were at the point where we were about to order food, because obviously we have snacks and those type of things. But the one thing that Coach Paroli at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if he works for Tom Brady, if it works for Tom, it probably can work for these guys, is once you get past a certain amount of time, you got to refuel, because we eat 4 hours before the game. So in order for you not to run out of gas in the fourth quarter, you got to refuel at some point. So we were about another hour away from having to make the switch to refuel. Our administrative staff, Coach Everett and his staff, our chief of operations, they were in the process of ordering food in case we got another 30-minute delay. So honestly, I learned a lot back in 2017, and I didn't even think about it. And we did that study this off season, and we worked it to perfection. I think it made a difference. We had a little bit more juice in the fourth quarter. We probably were a little slow in the start in the third quarter, but you just watch what Rasheen did, at the end there. I think we grit and grind. I think the process works. The kids trusted it, and BA and his staff did a phenomenal job. Our nutritionists did a phenomenal job. The kids trusted our plan.
Other than being 2-0, what's the biggest takeaway from early, in these first couple of games, and you've seen your team in different situations?
Well, I think one, whenever you can get, you get behind and you battle back, I think that says something about your team. Now that we got 2 games on guys, we can start to see some consistency in production. We can start to see some inconsistency in production. And we got to be able to make adjustments. We got to be able to coach up the inconsistencies, and we got to be able to retain the consistencies. And I think this bye week will be a big piece of that. We still got some young guys on this team who are really, really close to playing. And we got to get them ready, because obviously as the season goes, we're going to need them. We got some guys that are right on the edge, as far as, mastering the playbook, playing at the right speed, all those things. And, this week's going to be big for those guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Go Herd.